for it.
Thrill for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Nexa.
The timeless T20 comes to an end in Ahmedabad with the Titans prevailing. And on Nexa presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, we will speak of the impressive standard of fielding, the difference between both sides, where the Sunrisers thought they were in the game and how it just fizzed out and how towards the end. And the things it takes for our Sai Kishore to get a ball in these days in the IPL. Right. Danny's here. He's awake, I hope.
Yeah,
Aakash and Matt Roller. 4 hours and 1 minute. We have a result finally. Titans win by 38. There can be very little argument that the better team has got the points today. Aakash, in the end, easy, no?
Yeah, eventually it turned out to be easy because while Abhishek was there, a bit of Klaasen, the game was still probably hanging in the balance. Even though it was constantly moving towards Gujarat Titans, let's be fair, they needed a bit more from their two openers, plus Ishan. Ishan was a runner ball while he lasted. I don't know the exact.
13 of 17 actually.
Okay.
That's
not even run a ball when you're chasing 220. I mean, you're behind the curve massively right from get-go. And then it just petered away in the end because Nitish Kumar Reddy hasn't really done much this season. Aniket.
I mean, you'd almost argue game was far too done. Even if
it was done.
Nitish has ended with 21 of 10 and Pat Cummins 19 of 10. Why did it fizz out, Danny?
They've been like that. Apart from that rip-roaring start, when they played the Sunrisers at home on pitch number 2 and they like it there, it's stuttery, isn't it? They show glimpses and then it's almost like, you know, learning to drive in a manual car and from third, second back, no. And it just doesn't happen, does it? They sort of just don't go anywhere.
It was over. I mean, if you tell the Sunrisers that at the 15th over mark, you're going to be 130 odd for 2 or 14 over mark and you're going to have Abhishek set and Klaasen, you know, okay, then you're saying, all right, we're in the game. But why are they not in the game after that?
It just looked like a side that's low on confidence, don't they? I mean, you know, in football at the end of the season, they talk about a team being on the beach. Maybe Sunrisers are still on the beach, having just come back from the Maldives.
Naughty.
But no, I don't know. They don't look great, do they? And I think GT also bowled exceptionally well. I think Prasid has been arguably one of the signings of the season, probably the best bowler this season in the league, or in the conversation at least. You could put Hazelwood and Kuldeep in there, but he's been very, very good. And I think, GT just looked like a much better all-round side tonight, I thought.
Well, let's go. That's a great response. But Prasidh Krishna.
We will talk about Prasidh actually. What was the score at the 15 over mark?
15th over mark, sir, was 139 for 3. They had just lost the wicket of Abhishek, I think, at that point.
Aren't they behind the curve already, actually?
GT were 162 for 2. They've actually never been ahead in the game.
So that's the issue. So if you keep falling behind and you're chasing
220 plus,
220 plus, every single over after the 10th over mark is going to add a run, at least to what you're chasing.
If anything,
so 11s will become 12s and 13s and 14s. By the time the 15th over, I think it was 15s.
Yeah, if anything, Titans have done a Sunrisers on the Sunrisers.
True.
They've got off the blocks quickly and at the 10 over mark they were 120. Then they slowed down a little bit and got 225.
225, yeah.
Let's go Prasidh Krishna though. What's impressed you most about him? Signing of the season, and I think there's more than a few people that might agree.
Yeah, he's almost, dare I say it, the English seamer sort of guy. Tall, angular. I'm thinking of like a Gleeson type thing. You know, the big, tall arm action and high and hits that nasty length. And when he goes full there, he's asking questions. And I think that's what I've liked about him. Bristling and menacing at times. Bowled a good bouncer, bowls a heavy one, quicker than you think.
Yeah.
I've spoken to batters and interviewed them and have done stuff from the box. And yeah, he's been very good.
Akash.
I think he's from the Hazelwood mold of fast bowling. And what has happened with him, it's beautiful actually, because he's antithesis to most people, what most people think about fast bowling in T20 cricket. You see slingers, you see swingers, you see all kinds of bowlers in a sense. But you don't see a guy hitting the length back, ball after ball, ball after ball. And he's fine. He's tall, high arm action, hits the sticker of the bat and doesn't do anything else. He doesn't have a slower one actually. He's got a very a middling kind of slower one. He doesn't really have a slower one that grips the surface like Bumrah or like Bravo.
He seems to have developed some kind of pace-off variation, which is effective.
So he's pace off.
Right.
He's not a slower one. He doesn't have a slower one which will, which you can't read. It's not disguised that well. He did bowl one which actually floated away once, but that's only once this season, which was quite nice. Actually, it floated like a frisbee. But that's about it. But I think Ashish Nehra, you need to give him credit that he doesn't give him the new ball, and he doesn't tell him to do anything else. Just stick to what you have. The moment you give the new ball, you're obligated to now bowl fuller. He cannot bowl full. He should not bowl full. So he's bowling back of length, and he's just bowling that. So I think he's the clarity of role has made Prasidh Krishna the bowler that he is.
Yeah, and actually on that point, we've sometimes been critical of GT in the fact they've always wanted that extra bowling option. Sometimes they have 7 bowling options on the pitch, but by having Ishant come into the game and share the new ball, that means that Prasidh can bowl in his best phase, which is through the middle. He's also, I was thinking there was I think it was KL Rahul, he got LBW with a perfect Yorker in one game.
Outstanding delivery, won't be spoken about much. Yeah. It went straight new ball and just tailed away just before landing. I've never seen new ball tail away that late in the air. It starts moving a little earlier. It was just before landing. It just tailed away, and that was, I think, one of the balls of the tournament so far.
And that was that element of surprise as well, because he's nailed that hard length, back of length every time. And then when you can slip in a perfect Yorker like that, I think he's been very, very impressive. Especially, we've spoken about people missing a couple of IPL seasons. He's missed 2.
Yeah.
And he's come back in and has performed as he has. I think it's exceptional.
Just the Ashish Nehra Academy once again, producing exceptional students.
Correct, absolutely. Whoever is struggling as a fast bowler in India, an Indian fast bowler, send him to GT. He'll come back a better bowler.
Okay, I think the lineup, there are a few of them. But you said he's from the Hazelwood school. He's now very close to Hazelwood. In fact, he's really leading the Purple Cap race at 19.
Awesome.
Hazelwood is 18.
Awesome.
It's fantastic from Prasidh Krishna. Just awesome. Bumrah-esque, really. When Rashid Khan goes for 50 of 3 overs and you've gone 2 for 19 in 4. Someone explain that? Rashid Khan goes for 50?
We saw some stats, and he's not hitting the stumps. He's not bringing the stumps as much into play. But again, talking with colleagues in the comm box, been watching him for a lot. Right-handers are going to treat him as an off-spinner, comes back, and they go after him at the right time. And then if he's not on his game, like, hello, we're all human, and as a bowler, again, batters, it's confidence. And if he's slightly off his game and they read you, and then, mate, not the biggest boundaries going around some of them here, and it disappears a long way when they get it right, batters.
I thought your point at the halftime, we'll see quality spin here, but they don't want to show us much spin.
No.
3 from Rashid, 1 from Washi, 0.4 balls. 0.4 overs from Sai, and that only because Ishant had to be stretched off towards the end.
Yeah, this is bizarre. I mean, they almost played with 10 men. Oh, no, actually 11 these days. Everybody plays with 12. Usually they played with 10, or rather 11. But Rashid, I think we've had this discussion earlier about Rashid as well, that and it's not an aberration. And if it is not an aberration, see, it's not losing your mojo, but definitely that Rashid threat is gone. They kept him for Russell, and he bowled really well to Russell. He dismissed him in that game. He seemed to have rediscovered what real Rashid looks like.
Looking like he's improving.
Yeah, but the last game, Vaibhav Suryavanshi actually took him down. Hit him for a 6 to get to his century. And then today again, it cannot happen every second game. He's much better than that.
Even there, he at least finished okay in that last RR game. But this is inexplicable. You know what, maybe we'll save it for another day. I'm just trying to find it so hard to believe. At the Pacers, you just couldn't get boundaries of the Pacers.
Yeah.
And even towards the end, when the game was done, and before that with Klaasen, who struggled against pace, but just everyone was taking Rashid down.
Yeah, I was thinking as well about Sai Kishore, because I think it's worth dwelling on. The last time he bowled his full quota in the IPL this season was on April the 6th, reverse fixture of this. We're, May the 2nd today?
Yep.
So he's having started so well, they're now very, very reluctant to bowl them to left-handers, seemingly. And, across his IPL career, the numbers are a lot worse against left-handers. It's economy 10.5 instead of 7.8. But this year, it's pretty much the same. He obviously got pumped by Puran in one game. But, I don't know. It's almost one of those things where it feels like it's self-reinforcing, where they don't want to bowl them against left-handers. So then when they do bowl them against left-handers, he's going in with that mindset of I'm about to get hit.
I'm going to save that one, box it for a day when they lose again, or if they lose again.
Tuesday at the 1K.
Yeah, but in all fairness, we sometimes think that they're overthinking this balance of the team, whoever needs 7 bowlers, but it looked like pace was the way to go. And the fact that they've won this game and that pace was harder to hit, Ishant Sharma has also impacted the game, at least by allowing for a phase where Prasidh can bowl, like you mentioned, Aakash, and then chipping in towards the end with the wicket of Abhishek Sharma as well. So are they actually getting these tactics right? The pace was harder to get away than spin today.
Well, it's of course when you look at the results, because you will always be judged by the outcome, what you tried and what you got in the end. So they are the ones who have the resources. So there are very few teams actually. Sunrisers Hyderabad is one of them that has bowled least number of spin overs in a game. The second from bottom is actually Punjab Kings. But when you look at them, you say they don't have the resources. So their hands are tied. It's not the case with Gujarat. They do have the resources, but they're choosing to look in another direction. And if they're still successful, then you'll have to say that they know what they're doing, because whatever they're doing, it's absolutely working.
At the pre-show, Danny, when we were talking about what's not worked for the Sunrisers, one of the first names you mentioned was Henrik Larsson. And this is where you once again bringing out his retention price, his international pedigree. When it's an 80 or 90 of 35, I mean 60 of 30, a lot of people are getting these days. What you need, a big overseas gun to get you is 80, 90 of 35, and they had a foundation. It's just not fired?
Yeah, and again, I don't care who you are. We've played enough cricket that you up against some big names and they just don't have the confidence. It's just not there. Just, you say, inexplicably, he's moved up and down the order a bit. Where's he finding his role there?
But he's been now being asked to come in at 4, which you think is good, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a posi for him, no doubt. He's got out, and I'd love to know more stats, like moving around the crease a lot and got out. He's got knocked over by Kishore, give himself room outside leg. I saw he missed a Yorker from Bumrah, which understandably, but it was a high one, but still it was quick. And he was under the pump to get going. So, yeah, and the price tag, yeah, definitely.
Could it be playing on him?
I mean, I've never seen that kind of money, so I don't know. But the fact is that there are quite a few people
I don't
who are
allow
struggling.
guests to lie on my show.
Yeah, with Gucci,
Yeah, let's get those shoes
Come
in.
on.
Cheaper, come on, 123 crore. But yeah, there are quite a few who are actually not doing that well with that hefty price tag. I can think of 3 at least. So there are people who are struggling with the price tag if it's too expensive. But I mean, Henrik Larsson is too good a player, I feel. If you've got that kind of international experience, I don't think money can actually play on your mind. Henrik Larsson's success or failure will always be dependent on 2 things. One is the shot selection, because he is that kind of a player that will be obviously getting out in the deep, picking a wrong shot like he did today. You think going like that to Prasidh Krishna just after they've lost a wicket, was that the best option that you have picked?
Yeah.
And the second will be the execution. So it's just the combination of both. I think he's getting enough overs now, so you can't say that, oh, you're holding him back for too late.
Right,
It is
100%.
not.
Dare I say that one thing is, you brought up how often he's been getting out to spin. But is there something about his inability to hit boundaries of pace?
Potentially. I mean, I think the thing that's standing out is that he keeps getting starts and not quite going on, which, especially when you consider we've got to consider him as a number 4 really for the past few games at least, is a real frustration. I wonder as well whether there's one of these situations where, he's come into the IPL relatively late in his career, so he's probably had that 1 or 2 year period where maybe, particularly until probably last year, he wasn't the one guy that teams were planning so much for and saying, how do we get this guy out? How do we shut this guy down? It was probably only last year that started being the case. And maybe now he's got to the space where he's game again, because teams are coming much better prepared than they would have been 2 years ago or a season ago when he was the 3rd or 4th name coming up in the bowlers meeting.
Yeah,
Expectation. Again, it comes back to that. It's a big difference. What was it? Was he? You'll tell me. Was he 5 or 6 crore, and now he's jumped to 23
crore.
And that's massive. And again, I'm only surmising too, because it's in his head. But you have that big E, expectation, that you have dominated in the last few years of how good you are, and particularly against spin here, man. And then he just hasn't.
I want to go into more elements of the batting, and then quickly move to the Titans. Travis Head also played an interesting innings, different, 20 of 16. Kishan's innings just was cancelling out any momentum that Abhishek was giving at the other end. They didn't necessarily approach this chase like they did the Punjab game.
No, they didn't.
Now, is that because the surface was more challenging, the bowling was of a higher quality? What would you put it down to?
Maybe a slight combination of both. See, familiarity with the surface in Hyderabad will always play a role. You know the pitch, you know the ground, you just know the surroundings, and you tend to feel a bit more comfortable when you're there and you think that you are in control. The quality of Punjab's bowling was definitely inferior as compared to what was on offer today. And no two nights are same. The fact is, you may get going, and Ishan's was not even required that night because the bulk of the damage was done by Abhishek Sharma. In fact, you're chasing 240 or you managed to chase 240. A guy scores 140 out of those 240 runs. So that, I mean, it's just a one-man game in that aspect.
Sure.
Travis Head was along with him, 170 run opener partnership. That is it. The game is over. But here, the moment you lose Travis Head, then what? And Ishan Kishan's one knock is still, of course, standing out. But besides that, is not offered.
Poor season. Was the pitch not as easy as we thought it might be? Was there no effective dew today?
It didn't feel like actually.
Right.
They even showed the buggy cam with the
Wheels,
tires. They were just absolutely bone dry. So if there's no dew, then you expect, by the way, that there will be some spin on offer and spin will be used. Of course, that was not the case.
Can't get a run when there's no dew at Ahmedabad, Travis said. Patrick?
Okay, that's it.
Anyway,
that's it.
Just having some fun. But I think we have to impress upon the high standard of fielding in this game. Sunrisers were shabby.
They were.
Cummins dropped Butler, which was, by Cummins standards, we've never seen before. But how much of a role did that play? Do you have anything on that?
Not numbers-wise, but I mean, the impression was obvious, wasn't it? I mean, Shami had a couple in the first innings, which he gave the old police escort to the boundary rope, and then... second innings, GT looked right on it.
Some of us may not get it. He gave it the
police
escort.
escort. Just, this way, sir.
This way, sir.
Really?
But,
just as well you've added that word.
Comedy with him, eh? You're competing with Morrison.
It's good.
I'm doing my best. High standards on this couch. But,
Pago!
Rashid was fantastic. I think that catch
Big
in particular, was a game-changing moment.
Rashid loves to make tough catches happen. I've seen that from him. And he loves to slide as well. He's a slider.
There's a lot of sliders in it.
But it's a strange way of taking a catch, to be fair. But he almost identical catch at the same very venue sometimes a couple of years ago.
Yes, that one I
remember
covering
a lot of ground and then sliding the same way, and only he can do that. Nobody else can. But there is one good part of sliding the way he does. I mean, timing it is the most difficult bit, that how do you actually manage to reach at the right time, because you want to be stable when the ball is with you, and sometimes you might actually slide, go a little ahead or stay behind. But the fact is your elbows are never hitting the ground. That is one problem when you're diving. The normal dive that you see, elbows tend to hit the ground. In his case, elbows are never hitting the ground.
And what about Siraj's?
Siraj.
How late he took that, to make the ground. I think that point was made in comms. To make that ground is the key factor, getting there and then obviously holding on. But that was a very good catch.
Abhishek Sharma, very quickly, it almost seemed like he cancelled out the Shubman Gill innings, but nobody did anything around that. Abhishek Sharma, good innings for you?
Yeah. I mean, you expect that, don't you, in a way? I mean, he's just got all the shots, and early on, just smashing over extra cover. Wow, I mean, a lot of players are doing it, but you'd expect that from him, for sure.
Did he also suddenly find it hard to get as many boundaries away as the innings got deeper?
He did, because at least it felt like it was an action replay where the ball actually ballooned over that mid-off fielder twice. Almost, I think it was back-to-back deliveries, and you were thinking, okay, are they playing a replay? But the same result, the fielder reached there, saved the boundary. So he did find it a little difficult. It felt that he was running out of gas before he actually got hit, and then he couldn't run either. So, yeah.
Did they change the ball? Sorry if I missed that.
I didn't see that.
No.
Because there was a lot of pausing of play here, and there was also, dare I say, a testy environment. Shubman Gill was visibly demonstrative with the umpires. It took forever for them to try and argue why Abhishek Sharma's LBW review didn't quite go their way. I saw Dan Vittori talking to the fourth official.
Yeah.
What's this rivalry, GT SRH, Matthew?
I'm not aware of one at all. I mean, that's the head-to-head is GT dominant, 5th win out of 6. I was just going to add with Abhishek, he struggled against Prasid.
Yes,
he got 3 off
did.
9 against Prasid, and I think, just to underline the point we've made already, it shows how good Prasid was to concede 3 runs off 9 balls against the guy who's running hot is exceptional.
Yeah, I think we go back to the first innings here where Shubman Gill always had someone doing their bit at the other end. Butler's innings from the start and Sai Sudarshan. So GT have played an excellent batting first gear and template today.
Outstanding, actually. I was reading somewhere that there hasn't been an innings this season where one of the top 3 didn't score a 50. I mean, yes, bulk of the scoring is done by the top 3. And on this couch itself, we were discussing, there hasn't been a case where they were 20 for 2 and 40 for 3. I mean, that is the day when they'll get tested, actually, because other than that, they've found this template and they're nailing it every single game. So who can do that? 20 for 2 and 40 for 3. I don't know when it will happen. It should happen once at least in a season, is what I am contemplating. But so far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, I've said on previous Sunrisers games that the lack of toss wins for Pat Cummins has very often meant their bowlers are always bowling with below par scores, and we're not getting a true reflection of their bowling. Today, there's no excuse. Today, their bowling was poor, wasn't it?
Yeah, all over the place. And we discussed Shami needed to find something, and he couldn't again. And then it seems to be a way, isn't it? It's sort of infectious a little bit, really, and frustrating given that they played in the final. They were the finalists last year against KKR, and they've got some talented bowlers.
So can we say that their bowling has actually not improved from last year?
Which is actually sad, no?
Gone backwards.
We always felt that they had an upgrade.
Yeah, because it was Bhuvi Shami and Natarajan and Harshal Patel. So we thought, okay, that could be like for Bhuvi Shami, but it's not at all like for like with Bhuvi's form and Shami's form this season.
Yeah, and spin-wise, they've not exactly got much of an
They had
addition as well. have they?
Adam
Yeah.
Zampa didn't play much.
Yeah, and Rahul Chahar as well was someone who you looked at when they signed him in the auction and thought maybe they'll go 2 leg spinners when actually Zampa's played twice. I think Chahar's played
One
a
game
single
impacts
game
have
and
1 over.
got smashed,
By-
and he must be bowling terribly in the nets because otherwise surely he'd have had an opportunity by now.
Well, Rahul Chahar is bowling as much while not playing as Sai Kishore is
While playing.
while playing. All right, let's take some questions and comments. I'm also going to quickly just try and get more from the captains at the Ahmedabad. I want to really know what was going on with all that confrontation over there. And I'll come to that in just a second. But let me take your questions first up, shall we? Lawrence asks, would it be fair to say that the difference in the match was the fielding efforts by both teams? SRH gave away almost 20 to 25 runs with a poor display of fielding. GT saved as many.
Well, I mean, I don't know whether you can quantify that or not, but there was a stark difference between the two sides.
I think just overall there's a stark difference in all 3 departments,
That's
wouldn't you
right.
say? On
Yeah.
quality?
Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
38 is probably too many to say was just fielding, but I think that you just saw the mentality of the 2 teams. I thought was so different.
Yeah. I mean, he's putting with a plus 20, minus 20, right? So Sunrisers have given 20, GT have saved 20, and therefore he's here. That's where I think you're coming from, Lawrence. Rachit Garg, can anyone, please make sense of why Gill is not bowling Sai Kishore? Well, they're winning. They did lose the last one. But do you sense somewhere a bowler who was in really good form is now perhaps going to start doubting himself?
I mean, it's an interesting one. Actually, Abhinav Mukund was sitting here yesterday and we were talking about it, that it seems like the captain's call. I mean, there is no other explanation because Ashish Nehra is one of those guys who would want the bowlers to actually play a role. He's making sure that he's in the 11. He's not the guy who's been subbed out or subbed in. So, I mean, there is a role for him. It's just that sometimes captains are like that. Like Saurav Ganguly never liked the left-arm spinner. I don't think that's the case with Shubman, but it seems like now that one game he was taken down by Puran. And that was the last time he actually looked like bowling a few overs, or at least looked like the first choice of spin or a second choice of spin. 6 bowlers bowled and he's never been called, so that's strange.
Murli Karthik speaks very highly of Saurav Ganguly. So.
No, Murli Karthik speaks highly of everyone. He's a good guy.
Good man.
Look at you.
Okay.
Come on, Danny. Oh, God.
I can't get embroiled. Anyway, next question.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm missing that party. What's happening?
Danny,
Honestly.
give me a second. Danny, yeah. I apologize if I may just compose myself and restart. Right. GT is saying out loud, says, well, we don't want the fair play award, we want the trophy. Is Prasid now making a really strong case for the T20 World Cup spot next year? Well, he's certainly got to be in India's plans with the way he's bowling.
Oh, 1 year away, honestly.
Yeah, still
But
a
next
long
T20 assignment, let's go there. Next international T20 series.
I guess the thing I'm thinking with India is they're going to want to have some spinners at home, and in terms of how many spots there are in the side, if you go Arshdeep, Bumrah and Hardik as the all-rounder, is there necessarily another spot for a seamer?
Probably
maybe
one.
not,
There is
maybe
one.
one
There is
more.
one.
But then, do you want someone who can contribute a little bit with the bat as well, given the spinners you might put in with
None of
Kuldeep
our guys
and-
can.
Well, yeah,
That
I
is
don't
the
know.
problem, yeah.
We'll bat an all-rounder at 8. Anyway, what else do we have? Piyush Daya saying still not sure why Sai Kishore isn't bowling with the right-handers are batting, but could they be keeping him fresh for latter games? How fresh do you
Who's
need
it-
to be,
who's this?
Danny? Piyush Daya asking about Sai Kishore. Maybe they're keeping him fresh for the later games.
What's wrong with that? We just said that. Why would you not? I don't care about these matchups about left-handers facing a left-arm orthodox. If he's good enough, and it's
Yeah.
bizarre.
Silent man. Prasid speeds are amazing. Sometimes near 148. Beautiful action. Wish to see him in England. There was another one earlier which says, is Prasid actually in better bowling form to compete for the test spot ahead of Shami in England?
Yes.
Can you make that assumption on IPL cricket?
Yes.
Length, yeah,
Yes,
he's a length
because
bowler.
see, with the batter, you cannot. I mean, we're seeing Sai Sudarshan bat the way he does, and you still get a feeling that the kid is actually better suited for longer format, and therefore you should, you can actually base your assumption on that. Other than that, I mean, you can't really base a batter's form in a T20 game and then think about it as a good yardstick for Test cricket. But fast bowlers, yes, 100%, because the length that he's bowling, he's cranking it up, he's accurate. He's taking wickets. I think he's right up there. He should be actually on that plane.
All right. Kulatamani says, GT play normal cricket shots. They focus on 4s, not 6s, and still go at a great rate. Maybe it'll misfire against some sides, which have a lot more power, but it's working so well. You know what? Let's break the 4s and 6s count. It makes for quite a funny story.
Yeah, Sunrisers hit one more 6 today, 10 6s to 9, but GT hit 22 4s and Sunrisers hit 11.
So there's your 44 runs.
Yeah.
There's your 40 runs.
Correct.
Just more 4s than 6s. Yeah, they don't ever look to... Their 4s are usually the ones that haven't been timed to go for 6.
Correct.
Whereas these guys just hit 4s for fun.
And the dots was also massive. I think it was 18% GT and 30% Sunrisers, and that 18% is so low for dot balls. Speaks to the class of the top 3 again.
Piyush has another one. He says, Sundar's batting didn't impact today, but Rutherford should have been played to at least add 10-15 more. Washi anyway doesn't bowl his quota. Is that one area where, even though they're winning more than they're losing now, that they should perhaps not complicate, or are they trying to be a little too adventurous, too
cheeky
cute
about
with
it?
Yeah?
I don't know. See, again, Washi not bowling or perhaps batting and then not batting or not playing. I mean, this is something that that comes with an asterisk. I feel conditions apply. Read the document carefully. So that is how they are actually using these two. But today, I think it was Sharfin Rutherford's turn to actually go out and bat. If not him, if he wanted a right-hander, then there has to be Shahrukh Khan. Washington Sundar at that point in time had personally no business to actually be batting at that number in that particular game.
All right. Where is the X Factor is the name of the YouTube account. He says, SRH's power play bowling has felt like they've been chilling in Maldives all season. So, I mean, I don't like to mock players, but we did discuss previously that the timing of a little getaway, and you come back and you lose, and then suddenly you go...
Of course, we'll all be on the case, like hyenas. It's just somewhere we could stay within India just to get away and still be able to have, do some skill stuff. Or do you get away and all go and play golf together and stuff? But not everyone likes to play golf, do they?
All right, Gill's strike rate this season, 162. Would anyone consider that slow or conservative with how the game is going? My goodness. 200 today. That one was from Gaba Ka Ghamand as the account.
Oh, Gaba.
Oh, you should love Gill, if that's the account's name. What else do we have? There are some comments here which are actually, I will just entertain it. It looks like Rashid is the weakest link in GT. Rashid Khan. Should they consider getting Rabada in for Rashid when he's back?
No. Any more silly questions?
All right, on that note, could GT actually consider giving the middle order more time given that they are looking at a playoff spot. So shouldn't they want their middle order tested more? That's from Matt, it seems.
It's a tricky question, this, because it's come up a lot. What happens if they fail? What happens if they fail? And we're now, 10 games into the season for GT, and it's happened arguably once in the reverse fixture where they were 15 for 2, I think. Other than that, it's all been 100 for 2, 100 plus for 2. So I feel like we're almost getting to the point of what if they keep succeeding? You know, what if they manage it in a playoff game? But yeah, I can see the argument if they were to have locked in a top 2 spot with a game to go. Maybe you change things up a bit for the last one.
So that's the problem with actually the last game. Just before the playoff, you don't want to actually change something.
Yeah, true.
That's the other problem with that.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked a little while earlier on, can you explain why it's umpire's call on impact and not on pitching? Mr. Chopra's done a very long reel on that. I would advise you, not long, but very informative reel on that.
Informative, yes.
Yeah. I'd advise you to go read it, but for what it's worth, that impact where the ball pitches, there's no grey area because you need more than 50% of the ball pitching in or out, and they can determine that without any ambiguity because the event is happened. The ball is pitched on a still surface. When it comes to impact, you have 2 moving objects, a ball and a batter's pad, so they're not sure, which is why they leave it to the umpire's call. Simple as that, if that is simple. And now let's just get you apprised with the comments of the captains. Pat Cummins says, power play with the ball wasn't great. He starts there. I was guilty there. We gave away 20 too many in the power play. We had to hang on to our catches through the middle. I was guilty there as well. Gotta love Pat Cummins. Gotta love him. Maybe chasing 200 would have been more realistic. They're class batters in GT. They don't do anything outlandish. If you bowl bad balls, they put it away, and we did dish up many bad balls. We weren't at our best. Was a really good wicket. Going for 140 of the last 14 was a good effort from our bowling group. Felt we were in the game with our batters, but in the end was a bridge too far. We left too much for the batters to do. We have to cling on to some hope. Big auction last year. This group will be together for 3 years, hopefully. He puts in a hopefully there. So lots to play for. It was pretty honest from Pat Cummins. I wonder at what point they'll say, right, we can't be playing Mohammad Shami. It's costing us.
Who do they have? Simarjeet actually started
That
really
also
well.
didn't, but that also hasn't worked for them.
So he
Simarjeet.
started really well. He was impressive to begin with, a game or two, and then he's gone. So who else do they have? I don't think they have, outside of the 12 or 13, they don't have players to actually replace the players who are already playing.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried Ishan Malinga. They'll have to tweak their overseas again.
Then they'll have to
Had
get rid of...
they've had Vian Mulder in that team.
I think
Anyway, so Simarjeet seems the only option.
I think they're not mathematically out, I don't think, after this, but they're effectively done, I think. So you can already start thinking about next year and thinking about which gun power play bowler are we going to sign in the auction, because I doubt Shami's going to be there in 2026.
Okay. Josh Butler, our best performance in the field. We've dropped a few this season, but Rashid's catch set the tone. Guys at the top have been in great form. Openers have traditional techniques and can occupy the crease. They took us by surprise, actually, with how fast they scored with classical shots. Sudarshan has a great head on his shoulders, blown away by how good he is, puts in the work, understands his game well. He's shown great consistency and is getting the rewards he deserves. Prasid does the basics well, bowls a fantastic line. Excellent. That's pretty much it. Gujarat Titans back to winning ways and looking good for top 2, top 4. Well, top 2 certainly. And they always have the little one game in hand to whoever's in and around them. Doesn't get any easier. What a clash that promises to be now. MI versus GT at the Wankhede on Tuesday night. That should be fun.
Yeah.
My God, that's a good one. As far as SRH go, they're in the middle of RR and CSK. It's not where you want to be right now at this point in the season.
The double R.
And they will now travel home to play DC and KKR. But they could be even more dangerous if they don't believe they have a playoff chance now. So we'll see what comes DC and KKR's way when they go to Hyderabad. Gentlemen, time for our rapid fire review. You all know the drill. Quick fire submissions to wrap up the game. Let me start off with you, Aakash Chopra. Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan, Josh Butler, Abhishek Sharma. Pick the standout innings of the day and why.
Well, Shubman Gill, just class, just was so flawless. It was like a princely knock. You couldn't find a fault with it, except that run out, his own call.
I love Shubhas. We love Shubhas. Shubhas.
Shubhas.
Just looking great.
You're right.
Wedding bells. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What's happening? I'll be there. I could be there. I'll help him out. Celebrate.
Danny, Danny, for you, what's gone wrong for Mohammad Shami this season?
Well, it's just the confidence thing. Again, at times you wonder, we're surmising, as we said before, his body, is he just putting it there at times? He's getting smashed a lot, driven. He's a swinger, sure, but it's just that confidence of finding that searching length enough and bowl both sides of the wicket, which, like I said, so unlike him. He's normally in that lovely channel of uncertainty, and he's just, that radar's off, and I just wonder, yeah, for him, confidence-wise.
All right, let's go to you, Matt. Sai Sudarshan, Joss Butler and Shubman Gill are all in the orange cap leaderboard. Who is likely to finish where? That's a predictable one.
I think the three are the top four right now.
Yeah, they are.
And Kohli and Surya are the other two there.
I fancy Virat, business end of the season, but let's go out of the GT. I reckon Gill will be the top of those three.
Okay, back to you, Aakash. 19 wickets in 10 games. Is Prasidh the best bowler in the IPL this year?
Along with best Indian bowler and along with Josh Hazelwood, he is. And sometimes you see the wickets and you say, it's okay, they've got the wickets, but are they the best? Are they bowling in those phases where you tend to get more wickets? But it's not the case with Prasidh. He is absolutely gold dust.
Danny, why has Heinrich Klaasen not lived up to expectation this year?
I love that big E, expectation, and perhaps that's what it's around. I've certainly put it out there of that because he's such a good player. And he was moved up and down the order. I think we agreed that 4 was his positive. He wants to make an impact. He just hasn't. Another thing about confidence. Keep thinking about that thing in the background there that just plays on your mind.
All right, and finally, Matt, from runners-up last year to just 3 wins in 10 games this season, have Sunrisers been the most disappointing team so far in some ways?
In some ways, yeah. There's 3 strong candidates there, Sunrisers, RR and Chennai. I reckon Chennai are most disappointing still. Based on, I honestly, at the end of the auction, thought this could be a decent side, and they've been dreadful.
Okay.
Woeful, in fact.
God, give us a few more, Danny.
That's enough.
All right.
Listen, good morning.
Yeah.
We're all loving the show.
It's time to go home, Danny.
Yes,
It's time to go. Is your party still on?
Beauty sleep. Yeah, I flagged it. I've cut them, guys. I can't. The car won't start. I can't be there.
Maybe they can bring the party to you.
Oh, you coming?
Nah, my wedding bells are all done. Thank you very much, Danny Morrison and Aakash Chopra. Akash, I will see you next week. Danny, I will see you tomorrow. Or rather today.
Or today, yes.
Later today.
I've got no more hair to pull out.
Matt, this will be fun tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much for being part of the conversation. I look forward to your company for RCB CSK tomorrow on Nexa Presents ESPN Cricket for Time Out. See you then.
Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Nexa.